you need to be playing that game at like a much bigger scale. Like it's not, yeah, if you want to make like a grand or two a day, you can do that. And you can, be running one affiliate offer 1 year and then another affiliate offer another year.
Yeah.
But if you really want to make it at like a big level of pay-per-call, like you need to be prepared to basically like reinvent the wheel like every single year with like the campaigns that you're running.
All right. We've got another one. The wonderful Tyler Day. Man, you were like an OG. You and your brother came on this podcast so long ago, so long ago. Before you moved to San Diego, I think too. It's been a while.
Definitely, man. Yeah. So, I mean, we definitely go way back, especially with Tyler Devin. I mean, I remember, having sit down meetings with him and stuff in Florida. This was probably, 10 years ago, with different, business projects that we were partnered on back then. And, our companies definitely go a long, long way back. I don't know if you were even working with Tyler yet at that point, but, it's been a long run for sure.
Cause you guys used to do a lot of email stuff too. Do you still do email stuff, or is that kind of like?
Not really. Yeah. I mean, we were big on email, probably about like 10 years ago, like when we first started to like really see success in the affiliate space. Like a lot of our initial success was built around like these data-driven campaigns where we were basically like trying to build like as big of an email list as possible.
Yeah.
And I know that, Tyler, working with Tyler was definitely, part of our strategy back then. I mean, he helped us a lot with, figuring out the mail side and stuff. But yeah.
Cool. Cause I just remember you guys were doing that for a while. But I wasn't sure if you were still big on the data side of things and everything, but,
not really. Yeah.
No. Do you guys still collect a lot of data, just like broker it out, or do you just, and you don't have to tell me if you don't want to, but, I'm just more curious. Cause I know you guys, a lot of your offers are very direct, like, or you even like have your own flow set up and everything like that. I'm assuming that you broker that data out still, because that's like money on the table and you guys are too smart to not do that.
So, basically we were running like a very like data driven business for like about 5 years, from maybe like 2014 or 15 until about like 2020. And like what happened was that we just ran into like scalability issues, like with the data side of the business. So we were running offers where we were like able to acquire leads for very cheap.
Yeah.
Like for, 50 cents or whatever. Right. But it's like we were definitely more strong, like on the media buying side, on just like the acquisition side, than we were on the data side. And what happened was that like we were at a point where our business was doing maybe around like $5 or $10 million per year in revenue. And like, think of for every dollar in revenue, like basically there being like maybe like one lead like added to the email list or something, right? Because we were generating leads for about like $1. But like after a few years of doing this, like the amount of email data became like so monstrous that it became hard to even like monetize the data. Like,
oh, interesting. Because you couldn't deliver it, like deliverability was challenging at that volume.
Yeah, exactly. Like it was basically becoming a hindrance to even work with like ESPs because, we would build like an email list in like Aweber or something like that. And then when the email list would get to only maybe like 250,000 leads or something, we would have like higher ups at Aweber, like, breathing down our neck about, like every single offer that we're sending out to the email list. And it's like, oh, you can only send out one offer. You can't cross promote another offer. You can only, send out an offer for only exactly what they signed up for. And we're like, oh, well, look at our website. Like we have, the terms here that, they can receive these other promotional emails and this and that. And like, we ended up just like constantly running into issues with like, butting heads with these email service providers. So at one point we had, I think like 30 or 40 different ESP accounts that we were, managing data through. And, it was like a full-time job to even just like deliver the emails and stuff,
It's almost like running Black Hat, like Facebook, you just need so many accounts.
Yeah.
It just needs to be so managed. And like, dude, and people don't really think about it, but those ESPs cost a lot of money to have that many going at all times.
Yeah. I mean, it eats into the margin.
It's not cheap.
So let me explain. So like what the ESPs like is they like branded stuff. Like they like you have your Shopify site that you're selling some widget or some product and you're building a brand, and every email that you're sending out is like going back to your brand. And like that's what the email service providers like. What they don't like are these sort of like lead aggregator type, like affiliate campaigns. Like everything that we were doing was super white hat. Like
basically us.
Yeah. Like we were running ads for like low income housing. Like we were promoting an offer for rent to own homes where like it'd be like a low dollar amount, like rental. Somebody would opt in, we would get paid on the lead. We, from the affiliate offer that we're promoting, we're collecting a lead on our email list. The user then goes and looks, browses like the real estate listings near them and stuff, like super white hat stuff. But just like the strategy was to collect the lead and then like basically cross promote different affiliate offers. So we would send them an email for the rent to own housing. We would send maybe like 2 or 3 follow-up emails for that. Right. But then after they've gotten 3 follow-up emails for the low income housing and stuff, it's like, okay, what else can we give them? Well, if they're applying for housing, they probably need to have their credit score. So let's cross promote like a credit check offer for them to have their credit report on hand to give to, the landlord that they're applying for so it was like a lot of like cross promotion stuff like that the ESPs just hated. And, they only wanted to see you sending, emails directly back to your brand. And we ran into this basically on every single ESP that we worked with.
It's a grind, man. It's like 100% a grind, right? Like even now, comparatively to like the Facebook side of things, like Facebook's a grind as well, but like, it seems like they're a little bit more easygoing with, promoting affiliate stuff. And I mean, you're still going to burn accounts and stuff, but like comparatively to that world, I think it's much more easy unless you really have like your systems dialed in terms of like doing newsletters and so on and so forth. So
totally,
I'll stick with Meta or Facebook any day. And I feel old saying Facebook, but like, I'm just like, I've been doing this shit forever. So it's Facebook.
Totally. Yeah. So like we hit a cross bridge where like we were really profitable, just like doing media buying on Facebook. But the data side of the business was turning into a nightmare, and like it became not viable anymore to like work with traditional ESPs like Aweber, MailChimp, et cetera. So like the other option is to build your own mail servers, but it's not easy just to like get up and run a mail server and be deploying like 10 million emails a day. Like it's like a very slow process of like slowly building up, the domain reputation and
warming the IPs,
like sending out an email to 1,000 people and then like adding another 500 people onto the next segment. And it's like, we have tens of millions of records. Like this is never going to like happen. I mean, unless we were like real masters on that like side of the business. I mean, I'm sure, Tyler and he probably would have been a lot more suited to handle something like that. But we were looking at our profitability on the front end, like after 5 years of doing this and being like, we were basically limited on our growth. Like we were hitting about like 5-10 million a year in revenue, but we just couldn't keep growing beyond that because of like this whole like bottleneck of like what to do with like all the data that we were generating. And one day we just like removed like the email capture from the funnel. And like our
Yeah.
front end profitability immediately shot up by like 20 or 30%. And now instead of like trying to like hustle all of these like email accounts and spend like 12 hours a day, like doing seed testing and, you know, trying to see what word is going to trigger this spam filter in the inbox times, you know, 40 different accounts, you know, because every account had to have different emails that went out. They couldn't be the same email, you know, and we removed it. And then all of a sudden we were like printing money on the front end without having to deal with any of the data headaches, you know? So that was maybe around like 2020. And, you know, we just decided like, listen, we're just going to focus on like the front end acquisition and profit.
Smart, man. What do you think your growth was from like that 2020 to like the 2021 once you removed that headache of the email stuff?
So like once we like removed that bottleneck of like, you know, we have to get the leads and then like mail the leads to make the money, it just became like, how do we make like as much profit on the front end as possible? And like, how do we just scale the front end like as big as possible, right? So from that point, like the entire mindset just like shifted and we were no longer like constrained by all of these like bottlenecks. And we just started to like push things harder on the media buying side without having like these other distractions and stuff. Like the email stuff was so much work that it was hard to even like scale the media buying side because like it was a 12-hour a day operation to even just like get the email deployed, you know?
Yeah, dude, it's a lot, right?
So it was like holding us back from even like making, you know, enough ads to scale and everything. And like once 100% of the focus was just on the media buying, then we were able to like really start to hit some big numbers, just like straight media buying and just focus as much on the front end profit as possible.
What was kind of like, so what was your biggest, so removing that, the email part is a huge aspect to this, like you've mentioned, but once you went all in on the media buying side of things, what was kind of like the two biggest things that help you take your numbers from, I don't know what your numbers are now, but I have an idea, but basically growing them from like that doubling, let's just call it doubling or tripling your revenue within like a couple of years, you know?
Yeah.
And I know you're probably doing way more than that because I have an idea of where you're at, but it'd be interesting to see what were the two big levers you pulled to take you to the next level.
Sure. Yeah. So I think one of the big things that took us to the next level was getting into pay-per-call. I would say that that's like
interesting.
So we went from doing the lead gen stuff, like collecting the email, to then doing lead gen, just like pure front end for like a year or two.
Yeah.
And we were able to hit some good numbers with that. But then when we transitioned from lead gen into pay-per-call, like around 2021, everything like completely changed because on the lead gen side, like we were basically just running like an offer as an affiliate. Like in 2020, like beginning of 2021, our biggest lead gen campaign was mortgage refi. And we had like,
I miss mortgage, bro.
We had just like one buyer that was like a good offer. And, you know, we were doing like big numbers on the one offer, but you know, every offer has its cap as far as like a single offer, right? But when we got into the pay-per-call space, everything changed because being in like building pay-per-call campaigns is more akin to like owning your own offer. Like if you owned your own lead gen offer, like you're bringing all these buyers in on a ping tree and you're not just running one offer, you have like 30 back-end buyers that the leads are pinging out to. And pay-per-call is the exact same way. So like transitioning from running lead gen into pay-per-call is more akin to like starting our own offer. And instead of there being one offer that we're running, it's, you know, 30 different buyers in the pay-per-call campaign that all the calls are getting pinged to. And it's not dependent on like any one buyer's cap or anything like that. So I guess, like in a sense, like we started like building our own offer in that sense with the pay-per-call, and then just transitioning from lead gen to pay-per-call increased our profitability, by a decent amount for whatever reason, just like the the payouts and stuff on the calls, and the conversions were just happening at like a higher conversion rate at better payouts than the lead side. So, our front end profitability shot up, and then we had like a different mindset behind it of like, okay, we're going to get as many buyers as possible in this vertical that we're doing well in. And then, just focus on scaling it as big as possible.
That's really cool, man. I'm assuming you guys went pretty hard on like the ACA front, just because most people did in terms of pay per call stuff.
I mean, yeah, believe it or not, like we actually weren't really like that big in ACA.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I mean, we were like super early under the ACA, but basically like we saw like everybody like crowding into the ACA space, and just kind of decided to like, let everyone else like run with it. And like, there was like this whole like several year period where, everybody was running ACA, and, I was aware of it or whatever, but it was just like too crowded for me. And, we were basically running like an entirely different set of offers that, other people weren't really like focusing on. It's actually offers that we're still like running today. And I, I've decided to just kind of stop talking about like what offers that we run, because
no, that's fair, man. Don't do it.
Yeah. But we basically,
that's cool, man.
Yeah. We kind of, took the back seat on the ACA and decided really not to go that heavy into it when everyone else was really getting heavy into it. And,
yeah. Well, I mean, it's two-sided, right? Because there's like so much money to be made in that, but there's also, there's like so many people not getting paid, like tons of like crazy stories in that space, but also like tons of people basically build entire businesses around that and like, and printed, right?
Yeah.
So like you can go both ways with it, but I think that what you guys did is probably smarter on a long-term basis, because like ACA still makes money, but it's like, it's definitely not what it was like 2 years ago. Right. And I also think that there's so much like, there's so many eyes on it based on how aggressive people were running it, that it's like, I don't know. I think that it's depending on how you're running it still, it's like you could be lined up for a lawsuit at any moment, depending. So I think that like what you guys did is probably the smart play, thinking about longevity, going a different route that most people did. So you guys still run a lot of pay-per call. Do you guys still do a lot of lead gen as well, or is it mostly transition to pay-per-call stuff?
Yeah. We still do some lead gen. Our business is mostly pay-per-call, but I would say maybe about like 20% of our revenue comes from lead gen. So yeah, I mean, I'm just kind of looking forward into like what sort of the next opportunities are going to be from here. I mean, I think the whole space got like hyper fixated on ACA for the last 2 years. And like all of the growth, I feel like on the media buying side and the buyer side was all in ACA. And I feel like now in the last like 6 months, 8 months, there's been like more of a dispersion where, people are now looking at all these other verticals like in the pay-per-call space, for potential growth areas. So, other offers in insurance and finance, like, service-based offers. So it's like,
seems like a lot of people are moving towards final expense now as well. It seems like that comes up so much in the last like 12 months.
Yeah. But there's like a lot of other opportunities that are coming up too. I mean, for more like intent, like service-based campaigns, it's like we're seeing growth in the pay-per-call space for all these like micro niche things like dumpster rental, porta potty rental, garage doors. I mean, even home services could fall into this bucket too of like intent-based things like, roofing, windows,
plumbing, all that kind of
bathroom.
Stuff. Like,
yeah. So
all that stuff's big, but that has to be run on Google mostly, right?
For the most part. Yeah. I mean, those are like search based, like intent driven campaigns, but
Yeah.
I guess what I'm excited about is like the post ACA movement here to see like what else can come out of this, because I feel like the ACA kind of went through like a bubble and it was all
Yeah.
anyone was focused on. But if everybody's like now dispersing their attention into all these other verticals, it's like then we can now see more like broad growth in the pay per call space. Like we can see, you know, traffic increasing across different verticals. We can see more buyers coming into different verticals. And that makes it a little bit more exciting because now it's not just like one big thing that can work. It's like a ton of like dozens of different niches that, you know, could then potentially be viable. Like I feel like the pay per call space is really like still in its infancy in that sense, where like there's so many like industries that we could do this in, but for some reason, like everyone's just been like hyper fixated on like, you know, one thing at a time. And, you know, it's maybe slowed down the growth when, you know, the one thing goes through like a boom and bust. And, you know, then it's like, we have to build up all these other areas now. And, you know, it's exciting.
I think I agree. Right. And also I would say that there's so many resources built out around the pay-per-call movement in terms of like all these companies that were running ACA that they just like, they have to find alternatives or to like fill up those call centers or to, you know, just like feed their buyers new offers, like whatever. There's so many businesses that built up around just the ACA movement itself that like, they just have to go somewhere and find new opportunity, which creates more opportunity for us in the space as media buyers or even, I don't know, whatever else you do in the space that's related to that. But yeah, I think it's good. I agree with you on that. It's really cool to see, and I'm excited to see where that goes. Right. Like even now, I think that like, and maybe you've seen different, but it seems like a lot of people were trying to dabble in debt calls and then they were dabbling in like auto calls and stuff like that. But it seems like it just wasn't there yet unless you had your stuff really dialed in. I know that there is some guys that crush debt calls, but I think that they've been doing it for probably the last like 4 or 5 years and they really know what's up, you know? But I think the barrier to entry is a little bit more challenging on that. So I think as time goes on, offers will get better, buyers will get better, and it just creates more opportunity for all of us. So
definitely, man. Yeah. It's an exciting time to be in this space. I mean, affiliate marketing, it's definitely not like gotten any easier, but it's still like, there's still so many different opportunities that, you know, it's still like an exciting space to be in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think that like, it's definitely turned into like a master's game where like, in order to really like succeed at a high level, like there's so many different skills that you need to master. Like it's, you know, not only the media buying side, but it's like, you know, in order to even really succeed on pay-per-call, it's like you now need to master the client side. I mean, it's not really as simple as just running like one offer, even though there's still plenty of affiliates that do that, whether they're just running like one lead gen offer, one VSL. But like in order to really master pay-per-call, like you not only need to master all the elements of like media buying, the copywriting, the ad production, the technical side, the, you know, strategic side of actually like scaling. And it's not only that, but you also need to now be a master at like client relations. You need to be a master at business development. You need to be, So
it's just turned into more of like a real business all around from every aspect than just like, let's just throw up some ads and make some money. And I think that that's still there. Like if you like, I think it depends on what your goals are. If you want to make $1,000 a day, like $2,000 a day, sure, you can do that just by running a few affiliate offers. Figure out your creative game, maybe get a couple like outsourcers to help you with editing, and then just go crazy on creative testing and you'll figure that shit out, right? But I think if you're trying to hit the level where you guys are at, it's full circle. You need everything. You need like business dev, like you said, you need the connections for all the buyers. You really just need to build out an entire business start to finish and systems as well, all that stuff, right? Like before, man, like when you started and probably like when I started too, we were just like kind of going by like seat of our pants, no systems, just testing stuff and like getting stuff that works, you know?
Totally.
And that game's changed quite a bit in terms of that. But.
And, you know, I think that like affiliate marketing's like always been sort of like opportunistic, like one offer's working like 1 year and then the next year it's like a whole different set of opportunities, and it's still like that now. But like in order to really like crush it at a high level, like you need to be playing that game at like a much bigger scale. Like it's not, yeah, if you want to make like $1,000 or $2,000 a day, you can do that. And you can, be running one affiliate off for 1 year and then another affiliate off for another year. But
Yep.
if you really want to make it at like a big level of pay per call, like you need to be prepared to basically like reinvent the wheel like every single year with like the campaigns that you're running. And like,
Yeah.
it's like you might be running one vertical and get a dozen different buyers for that or whatever. And then it's like, you got to be prepared for like in a year from now for that one vertical to not be hot anymore and to like reproduce like that whole setup in an entirely new vertical. And,
Yeah. Yeah, dude.
it's a grind.
I agree with that. Yeah. It's a grind. And like, it really comes down to just like hiring the right people, right? If you try and do all of that yourself, it's quite challenging. But like, I'm imagining like for you, you handle a lot of the business stuff, but you do a lot of media buying and your brother does a lot of the biz dev stuff. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm actually not on the client side of the business at all. Like I'm actually not even really like in the loop with the client conversation. So
That's
Peter,
kind of nice though, isn't it?
yeah, Peter's more on the client side, and we have a client success team and a business development team. It's like half of our company is really just dedicated to like the client side of the business.
Yeah.
And then the media buying side is more my realm. I manage our media buying team, and I also do some media buying myself, although my capacity to media buy is like pretty limited. I mean, I'm looking at maybe like an hour or two a day of like, when everyone's like logged off for the day, or like I'm up like late at night, like looking at ad accounts and, coming up with different hooks and stuff like that. So, I mean, I mostly rely on like our media buying team to drive the volume, but I still am in the ad accounts and testing things and, getting my hands dirty.
Do you miss kind of just hiding out in a room by yourself and just like building ads and running campaigns and stuff?
I don't think so, man. I mean, I did the solo affiliate thing with Peter for like 5 years. I mean, from 2015 or maybe like 3 years, from like 2015 to 2018, it was only me and him. And like, he was getting clients and I was coming up with all the ads, and like, it was stressful, like, because it's like, if everything is relying on you, it's like there's no days off. I mean, it's 7 days a week. It's, especially if you're trying to grow a lot, like it's a lot of pressure to, manage everything by yourself. And, I think that a big part of our success came from when I like changed my mindset a bit from like trying to do everything myself to like, I'm just going to try to have like the best people around me, that are better than even I am at doing this. And, I mean, the results that we've gotten and stuff, like very little of it is like come from me personally. It's come from the people on our team that have been just a very high level and very smart and hardworking. And it's much more favorable for me to work with a team and just, have everybody in their, in their own grooves and working together. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely nice having media buyers. I find for me, and I think we've talked about this before, is just like, I struggle with finding media buyers that are consistently successful, right? Like I feel like for me, there's two ways to offset it. I could hire 30 people and then like basically probably trim it down to like 4 or 5. Or I can really dive in and work heavy with some guys.
Yeah.
But what we found, man, is just some guys just like don't have it, right? Like at all. Like, and it's tough because they have the intelligence of running ads. They seem to be somewhat creative, but there's almost like a bit of recklessness you need and like aggression for testing and scaling. I guess, or hunger, if you even want to call it that, right? And I find that has been the challenging part to find consistently.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, we see the same thing. I've, hired and trained like dozens and dozens of media buyers over the years. And, a lot of our results as a company just come from like the top, 4 or 5 guys in our team who are, the most experienced and I think, yeah, like you said, probably the most like common trait of them is more of like an aggressive, like risk taking approach. Like
Yeah.
if they find a winning ad on, Monday, it's not like they're just like, gonna bump the budget from like $300 to like $400 or something and
Yeah.
see how it's doing on Friday. It's like they're taking that ad and they're rolling it out across like 30 different ad accounts, like within like a
Yeah.
couple days. And they're, taking the one ad from, a low budget to like, you know, mid 5-figure spend, like within like a
Yeah.
2-day period of time. And like,
Yeah.
then they're like looking at the numbers at that point, being like, okay, we're running, 30 different ad accounts. We're like tracking performance across all these different accounts. All right, these select handful of accounts out of all these are doing better. Let's like push the budget more on these. And it's like, it's a lot more of like an aggressive approach. And, they wouldn't be able to do that either unless they were experts with like copywriting and,
Yeah.
producing good creative. And,
Yeah.
so it's,
Do all your guys write their own creative, or do you have someone to kind of help with that as well?
so the script of the ad is the most important aspect of the ad. So I
Yeah.
think that probably the most important aspect for any media buyer to master is copywriting. Like
I would agree.
there's nothing that moves the needle more than like the hook of the ad, in the script itself. And then the video and the clips that go into it are, yeah, it can have an impact as well for sure. But like, that's something that, I always like will have my media buyers, outsource. So we have our own video creative team in-house. That's like
Yeah.
5 people. They produce, around like 600 ads per week or something like that.
Jesus, man.
But then each of my media buyers that are scaling also have like additional video editors under them as well. Like the video editing side
Oh,
has been the
wow.
easiest thing to train for, because it's like you can just show like a video editor like one of your ads, and you could literally just hire somebody from Online Jobs PH who has video
Yeah.
editing skill and say, hey, replicate this with these different types of clips. And,
Yeah.
here's the ad copy. Here's what I want to see. And, maybe there's a couple weeks of, ironing out the kinks, but it's very easy to like,
Yeah.
Build out like a video editing team, but it's not easy to write like that winning copy that's going to, pull all the conversions and everything. So I have my media buyers focus mainly on that and then doing more like higher level decisions, like picking which creative to roll out across all the
Mhm.
ad accounts and push and make, the higher level media buying decisions like that.
Yeah. That's interesting, man. So for the copy side of things, like, are you teaching them personally, like, this is what you need to do? Or are you also getting them to go like sort of research some like famous copywriters or go watch these like training videos, or how do you sort of do that? Because I would say like you're probably a really good copywriter, but it's not like your number one skill set. I'd assume, right?
No,
Like,
yeah, I'm okay. I'm not like the best copywriter. I think it's a little bit of a combination of both. So I think if you're trying to learn copywriting, you need to basically study like other winning affiliate ads, because the
Yeah.
copywriting of this style of marketing that we do is different than any other industry. So
Yeah.
if you're looking to like hone in your copywriting skill, then you should be spending like half your day on the spy tool, like searching keywords of top verticals in the affiliate industry.
Yeah.
Or verticals that you're trying to run. And you should be building up like a bank of different, different ads that you can work off of to model for a different vertical that you're running, or, so I think like really the only way to learn it is just to like study what's working for other people out there. And then to
Yeah.
sort of like make a mental bank of like, okay, like this type of hook does well, like this type of script structure does well, where maybe you have like a curiosity based hook, you've got, like a body of the copy, then you've got like a call to action section at the end. And like over time, I mean, it's the hardest aspect of affiliate marketing for sure to do that.
Yeah.
And it takes like a ton of iterations. I mean, yeah, I mean, in order to really master it, like you're going to have to really put in like thousands of hours of just like writing,
Yeah.
sitting down for 6 hours a day or whatever, and just writing copy and putting it in the ad account and getting immediate feedback on how it performs,
Yeah. When you have one script that you think is good, how many iterations do you guys kind of go through in terms of like hooks and everything till you get that final version and keep pushing it?
I would a lot, man. I mean, so I would say like if you have like a winning script, what I would advise one of my media buyers to do would be to produce maybe about 30 different creatives per day for that winning hook.
Oh shit.
Where it's either
Yeah.
like a different hook sentence or like a different hook clip.
Interesting.
Either the sentence or the clip, like those two elements together can move the needle significantly. Like just having a different hook clip could move the needle by plus or minus 30% on a creative, or just having like a different, hook, right? So sometimes the hooks are like urgency based, sometimes they're curiosity based, sometimes they're, like a first person narrative. Sometimes it's like a third person narrative. Sometimes, there's a million different ways that you can go into a hook. But again, if you really want to master like hooks, like just study what everyone else is like succeeding on. And then, you can make a list of like 30 different hooks or something that, you've seen other people like succeed on, and then apply that to your offer. And it's like, for example, I mean, I was reading like a report of like some TikTok creators, and like I was reading a report about like some of their like top winning hooks for like their like TikTok creator program, and I don't want to like give away like the winning hook because I'm actually running this right now, but it's like like just study what's working for other people. Like it doesn't even have to be affiliates. Like look at what's working for people like on TikTok. Look at what's working for people with like YouTube automation, right?
Have you run the ChatGPT Viral Intro Hooks thing?
What's that? Just like running your hook through ChatGPT?
So, I'll read it exactly what it says right now. It's like, we've analyzed over 5,000 top hooks and created this GPT around it. So if you need help with rewriting your hooks for the next TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Reel video, it'll make you a bunch of unique ones. So what I did is recently I put in like just like a body of copy that was working for me. And I was like, hey, spit me out 20 different hooks for this.
Yeah.
And so it spit me out 20 different hooks, and like some of it didn't align. I was like, hey, well, spit me out 20 different hooks, but make it tie into the body copy. Dude, it's so cool. It's like instant. I'll send you the link for it, man. It's really cool. I'll drop it into Skype right now.
Appreciate that.
I won't be able to say that for a while though, man. Or in a bit. We won't be able to drop shit in Skype anymore. Sad times.
Yeah. I guess the industry is divided right now on whether people are going to go to Microsoft Teams or Telegram. I guess
it seems like most people are going to Telegram.
That's what most people are doing. But like, if you just log into Microsoft Teams with your Skype, it's like all your Skype chats just load up. Like, it's like, I don't know. It seems like pretty effortless just to like go on Teams. So, I mean, I guess I'm on both right now. So, we'll see what people end up settling on. But
dude, I now have like Telegram chats. I got Slack. I got Skype. It just like, instead of it being like condensed down, it's just got vaster and more confusing.
Yeah. I ran a poll in my company, like to ask everyone what they want to move to. And everybody said Microsoft Teams. Just, I think
interesting.
Yeah. My company, maybe that's going to be our platform, but we've got most of our client chats on Telegram and stuff now. So it's just going to be a mess, I guess. But
I mean, all a change is usually a mess until it sort of organizes itself out of necessity, right? Dude, I would love to sort of like chat to you because like we were talking about before, 2025 has been kind of interesting in terms of how traffic has been on Facebook.
Yeah.
I think like I was saying, we had a great January. February was pretty terrible for us. March was okay. It kind of got a lot better. April's looking all right as well, but I think the major thing that we're seeing is like creatives just like not holding. Like we can scale stuff up and it looks great for like a couple days, and then it's just like it's done. And what we've found is actually duping new post IDs is like helping. Um, for us anyway. So it's like, it's almost like we've gone full circle, because before we're running mass CBOs, letting them build up, lots of comments, lots of engagement, and those would hold for a while.
Yeah.
Now we've kind of gone back to the original, just like mass duping method, and that's sort of working. So like, I'm kind of curious to see what's working for you and how you guys are able to sort of scale up these days.
Sure. Yeah. So what's been working for us has been like basically finding a winning creative and then having a ton of variants that are like pretty similar to the winner. Like maybe you're changing just like some, small percent, aspect of it.
Even like the call to action button, right? Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, so like we'll find a winning ad, we'll take that video and make some, like 3% like adjustment to it. And then we'll roll that out across a ton of accounts. So like a winning campaign that we run, we might be running it on like 30 different accounts. And for we're seeing like different ad accounts have various different levels of performance. So like when we do that, we'll then analyze performance per account, and then we'll basically scale budget on like the best CBO campaigns. We're mainly scaling with CBO. So we'll scale the CBOs in the best ad accounts. And I mean, that's kind of been the best method for the highest scale. I mean, yeah. So basically like not really running all the volume through like a single ad account, having basically essentially like a ton of dupes across like a ton of different accounts and scaling that way.
Do you guys use a tool for like launching across 30 accounts, or you just have sort of outsourcers where the media buyers just manually do it?
We just have like our team help with it. I mean, like, that would be maybe like part of the role of like the video creative team would be like, hey, take this video and make, 30 different variants with like a small change, but I think there's also tools now that can do that automatically. So, yeah, I think you can do it either way. And then I would, have my media buyers have like a VA do the ad uploading so that they're not spending like 5 hours a day, just like uploading ads and stuff. Yeah.
Interesting. Dude, how many like, you don't have to tell me if you don't want to, but like how many accounts do you guys think you have?
Oh, I have no idea, man. A lot. Yeah. I mean,
because like if one media buyer is launching across 30 accounts and you have like a big team of media buyers, that's a lot of accounts.
It's a lot. Yeah. I mean, it's like hundreds, if not thousands. Yeah. I mean,
dude, that's cool. That's really cool. Was it you that was saying like, you're a big believer in like, you don't like spending more than 5G a day on an account because past that performance just gets terrible? Or is that still the same, or is that sort of changed for you?
I don't think that that's a hard rule per se.
Okay.
I mean, we've definitely had some accounts that we've taken to like huge budgets, like in a single account.
Yeah.
I think it's like, it depends on like the account's performance, right? I mean, I think that the best thing to do is just scale budget, like in the accounts that are performing the best. And like, if it has like a high performance, and it's just gonna, you kind of need to play it by ear, like what budget is gonna like hold up or not. But since every account's like different performance, some might be like dramatically worse or dramatically better than others. Like I like to basically push budget like in accounts that are doing the best on campaigns that are doing the best. And then, try to maximize the ROI that way. I don't have any hard rules as far as like an account can only spend like under 5K. I mean, it's more just like see how it goes when, ROI wise, when you start pushing it, and if you see a drop, you're going to have to walk the budget back. But yeah.
Interesting. And when you say like boost the CBO, like, are you just surfing that budget, and pushing it hard that way? Or are you doing dupes of it?
Yeah. So I would track each campaign, individually. And I would, I would basically, either like incrementally increase the budget or just like, I guess it just depends like how like aggressive you want to be.
Yeah.
I think it can go either way. It's also going to depend on your profitability. Like if you've got like a
Yeah.
really good margin or if it's like a pretty like slim margin, I mean, that's going to depend like how aggressive that you're going to push it. But like if
Mhm.
a CBO campaign is making like a 200% ROI or something, it's like, yeah, I might, like triple the budget or something and, just see
Yeah.
how it goes with like a much higher scale. But, if it's a much
Yeah.
thinner budget, and this also depends on if you're going to do like bid cap or if you're going to do just like an open CBO with no bid cap. So I
Yeah.
think that also depends on your profitability too. Like if you're really profitable, then you can actually get away with not doing any bid cap and just like pushing the budget, on the best campaigns and the best accounts. But
Yeah.
that's only if you're like doubling your money or something like, the margin's just like outstanding. But if you're running at like a thin margin, like if you're only at 15 or 20%, where like any day-to-day fluctuation on Facebook could just like flip you into the negative, then you're going to have to run with like more guardrails. You're going to want to do like the bid cap and you're going to want to set the bid at, the optimal like
Yeah.
CPA and, run it a little bit
Yeah.
more like conservatively, Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. I agree with that. So it sounds like you guys are testing at like highest volume. And if it's holding nice at highest volume, you just stick to it and push it as hard as you can. But if the margin's like sort of slim, you switch it over to bid cap and see if you can squeeze more profit out of it and have it sort of maintain that way.
Sure. Yeah, that's right.
Oh, that's cool. Cool. And like, so what's kind of like I'm assuming you have like a rough sort of like cutoff idea of what's worth scaling and what's not. Like if you're running a campaign and it's doing like 20% ROI, are you guys even trying to scale that? Or are you just like going straight back to the drawing board, see if you can do some new hooks and see if you can get that ROI up before you're pushing it?
Yeah, I think it would have to come up, right? I mean, like generally what I'd want to see to be comfortable scaling is just like like doubling the money, like at a low budget.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, you're
Oh, interesting.
spending like 500 a day and earning back 1,000 or something. If you're spending 500 a day and only earning back like 600, it's like the minute you go to push that budget, it's going to fall apart. So yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you need to factor that in and to really
Yeah.
feel comfortable
Okay.
pushing it, you need to be very profitable.
That's interesting because we see stuff that like starts off maybe 70% ROI. And most of the stuff we do is bid cap. But we try and scale that. And like it does work. Like we have some pretty decent days, but like I was saying earlier, we do see a lot of burnout pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if that's like something that's really sort of hindering us in terms of like keeping that scale up is just the lack of ROI out of the gate. So
Could be. Yeah, I think so.
Interesting.
Yeah, because, I mean, how profitable you are out of the gate is going to have like a big impact on just like the day-to-day performance. I mean, like we have some campaigns that we're running that are like pretty like thin margin. It's like,
yeah,
even on like good days, maybe it's only like 25%, but it's like if Facebook or Google both could have like easily like a 20 or 30% swing in performance just on any given day. Right. So like
yeah, that's true.
even having something that's a 25% margin on a good day is like really dicey at scale. Like it might be some days where like you're, at a -5% ROI or something, so it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, it completely comes down to margin and like the more profitable you are, the better you'll see your ads hold up overall and be able to push more budget.
Yeah. Yeah. We just saw that. Like I just scaled up one of our campaigns, just like a 10K CBO. It was on bid cap. And yesterday it was holding around like 40%, 45% ROI. And it did pretty good. But then like today, like it basically like lost within the first 3 hours of the day. And it was just like cooked.
Yeah.
It's definitely, you got to focus on that higher ROI.
You have to,
There's
yeah.
such a roller coaster.
Like, yeah, there could be
Interesting.
30-40% swing on any given day. Like you have to be able to stomach that. Like, like in order to feel comfortable putting like a $40,000 budget or something on a campaign, like you got to factor in like, okay, yeah, like if my Facebook cost is like 30% higher today than it was yesterday. It's like the room for error has to be there. And we'll see that on campaigns that we run. Like some days the margin will be like 40%. The next day it's 10%. And then, it's,
So, but having that bigger ROI definitely alleviates that pain and helps you stay above ground with that. So interesting. All right. Well, one thing I wanted to ask you is, like, you've been doing this media buy thing and building up this company for a while with you and your brother. What's kind of your end game with this? Do you plan on like trying to sell it, or do you like, what do you see yourself in like 5 to 10 years here?
Yeah. I mean, I think for right now, like I still see plenty of opportunity, like in the media buying space. Like I have, we have different business, like venture ideas, like every single week, like, let's start an agency, let's start a brand for this. And it's like any of these ideas has like an opportunity cost, because like we're doing very well, like in the space that we're in. And like to even take attention off of what we're doing 50% to like start another venture or start a brand or an agency, like there's opportunity cost to that. Like, things like it takes so much like time and energy to keep like reinventing the wheel every year with like these different campaigns. And it's like the minute that you stop like being all in, like it's like everything like falls apart. So for now, it's like we're doing well in this space. There's plenty of opportunity. I think like one area that I am passionate about is like the investment space. So like affiliate marketing is like a cash flow business, right? But like once you've been doing it for a long time and you're at a point where, you're not reinvesting every single dollar, it's like, then you want to look at, where you could put the money to work. So like the investment space is super interesting to me, because it's like, it seems to like go hand in hand, like with some of the skill sets that I've learned, like in affiliate marketing. I mean, it's like, for example, like if you have like an investment portfolio of, whatever, it's like let's say it's stocks, right? But it's like, you could treat those stocks like affiliate campaigns. It's like, one thing I like about affiliate marketing is like how you can pivot at any moment. Like if something stops doing as well and you see something else doing better, you can do that. You can do the same thing with investments. It's like, if you think one company is like kind of at its peak of growth, but then another company is like doing better, or you want to like move into cash and wait for another opportunity. It's like, it's a much bigger game. Like all of the money in the world is in like financial assets in the markets. Right. So I'm a long way away from like being like a master of like financial markets, but it is something that I'm like super interested in. And, hopefully 10 years down the road, like I'm able to be, in the investment space full time.
That'd be cool, man.
We've started to do some investment like in even our industry. So we invested in a company called Unity Senior Health, which is a Medicare agency.
Cool.
Like, so maybe the plan is to build up like a portfolio of companies where, we can own equity in the companies, and then we can also be providing, traffic and strategic expertise. Like if it's a company like that, it's like not only, do we have every connection on the traffic side that they would need to succeed, but we have, the business expertise, and, a business like that is sellable. So we're looking to do more things like that. Like I want to build out a portfolio of companies like that are in the agency space. So we have a Medicare one. I'm looking to add, more of those in different verticals. So, if anyone's starting an agency or anything like that, it's something that we're looking at. So, yeah.
I think we're in a lucky position too, where like our skill set can literally just drive customers to whatever you're invested in, right? Like I think that like, I'm assuming these Medicare companies, if they are not in the affiliate space, they're not like, I'm sure I this is an assumption, but I'm assuming they grow decently, but I'm assuming that with our skill set, we can grow them at like 100x the speed, right?
Totally. Yeah. I mean, like even this Medicare company that we invested in, it was like, they went from like zero to, having 10 agents like picking up the phone all day, like within like 4 weeks. It's like,
That's amazing.
that's like unheard of in like the agency space to like have that quick of a growth, and like the number of policies that they were selling, and all of it was fueled by affiliate. Like they're just, getting plugged into the ping of like top affiliates running these campaigns, and it's like the phones are ringing off the hook, and
and then you start realizing how much Medicare leads are actually worth, and it's like, comparatively to like getting paid $7 per lead through like a network, you're just like, this is insane,
Yeah, I mean, it is definitely eye-opening for sure, but I mean,
and there's a whole bunch of like back end games you can play with that stuff too. It's cool, man. Like once you start getting into that level of the business, you're just like, oh wow, there's so much money on the table comparatively to just being an affiliate.
Totally, man. But I, again, like I enjoy being an affiliate, and like I also like don't have time to like start my own agency. Like I see how hard these guys are working, and it's like the hiring of these agents, the training of the agents, the managing of it. Like it's more than a full-time job. And it's like, I'd rather just find people that are like, doing it, like want to do it at a high level, and have that be their thing. And then, just keep focused on like what's like a proven moneymaker for our business, which is like the affiliate space and pay-per-call and just running traffic.
Strategic partnerships, right?
Totally. Yeah.
Cool, man. Well, shit, dude, we've been doing this for 55 minutes now. It's been good. I don't know if you want to, but if anyone wants to reach out to you, what's the best way? I know you guys are pretty public. You guys post your stuff on your YouTube all the time. I always see your stuff come up every once in a while. Whenever Tyler or Peter have thoughts, it's just like, here's your video for the last 3 months,
I know. Yeah. I mean, regrettably, I haven't really been putting out content. Like I've just like really been like had my head down,
I don't think it's a bad thing though, man. Cause like, unless you're like trying to make the content your like full-time gig, it's better to have like good content than just trying to create content for the sake of creating content,
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. So anyways, I mean, it's an exciting time to be in this space. And, I think the first few months of the year were kind of rough, but one prediction that I have is, maybe around like this tariff stuff, right? I mean, I don't know like how long these tariffs are going to last, but like, I think that it could actually like be a huge like tailwind for like the lead gen and pay-per-call space, because from what I understand, like any of these e-com brands that like didn't like pre-order inventory are having to now like order inventory at like plus 30% cost for like the tariff fees that are being tagged on to like imports from China or Vietnam or wherever, right? And it's like, I mean, these tariffs just went into effect like 2 days ago, but it's like, once like brands start to burn through like the inventory that they have warehoused domestically, they're probably just going to have to pause their ads, because I mean, most e-com brands are not going to be able to like stomach like a 30% increase on like their inventory costs,
Essentially, that's probably their margin, at least, right?
At least, yeah. So, I mean, things are going to change like day to day. Like there's companies like negotiating, but like we put like a 30-something% tariff on China, and then China today like retaliated and said, oh, we're going to tag an additional 30% on our tariff. And it's like, it's a really like weird, like ugly situation. And like, I feel sorry for the e-com guys. Like hopefully you guys like pre-ordered a lot of your inventory, but for us, like lead gen and pay-per-call guys, it's like, we haven't seen it yet, but I think like within a couple weeks or maybe a month of this going on, like we'll actually see a ton of brands just like stop running ads, because like they just won't have inventory. They won't be ordering inventory at plus 30% costs. And like we might see our ad costs come down like significantly, So it's something that I'm monitoring, and, hopefully, I hate seeing like other people like lose or whatever. I'm not trying to like, all I'm saying is that there might be an opportunity here in the next like month or two to really like get some cheap costs on our ads and scale if we can see the costs come down,
Dude, that's pretty smart. I didn't think about that, but that's a good prediction, dude. That'll be interesting to see what happens. But yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. So
It's also a great time to start like to partner up with like an American made company, right? Because I feel like even just like there's so much growth there because I'd assume that most China products and take over the marketplace here. Like as we know, when we buy anything, it's usually from China.
yeah.
Um, but I'm sure there's tons of American brands that are just looking for a little bit of growth. And like if you could find some partnerships there, it'd be amazing because you could just beat out the competitors so easily now without those tariffs in place.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's difficult because it is like a lot more expensive to produce things domestically. It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
I guess that's the plan, is to have everything be produced domestically, but it's probably like a 2 or 3 year process to have like companies move their manufacturing and warehouses like from China or wherever to the
Yeah.
US. And it's like, even then, like the metrics are going to look completely different. Like if something costs $1 to produce in China, it's going to cost $3 to produce in the US. And then that increase
Yeah.
is going to be passed on to the consumer with like an increase of cost on the good. And then how does that affect like the demand on the consumer side for what you're selling and ad conversion rates, right? So
Yeah.
it's a mess. I
Yeah.
mean, I think the only way that it's going to like improve is if they just like revert on the tariffs, but like Trump seems like very firm on not wanting to back down. I mean, so
Yeah.
it's going to be like very, it's going to be interesting. And, I think we're seeing the reaction in the markets. Like I think the stock market was down 5% like yesterday
Yeah.
and today, like both days
Yeah.
down 5%, which is like, it's like unheard of to see that. So
I think it's a big like, and obviously it is, but I think it's just like a big negotiation tactic where eventually he's just trying to get something and then he'll remove it once he gets it. I'm not big into politics. I
yeah,
don't really follow
I think
it,
that's
nor
the
am I
plan. Like the
intelligent
plan
enough,
is to like
but
try to strong arm everyone, but like
yeah,
it's not like immediately like happening like that. It's like he did it to China. China responded by like increasing their tariffs. It's like, so now they're trying
yeah,
to strong arm him. So like, it's going to be a mess, dude. And like, I feel sorry for anyone that's getting caught up in this, but
dude,
I don't,
all my like,
yeah,
yeah, all my Canadian friends and stuff, just like, it's like, they're like, we're not even going to travel to the US. Not all of them, but like
yeah.
the ones that are, let's just say the non-entrepreneurial ones. A lot of them are just like boycotting the US and they're just like, fuck that guy. And I'm like, everything's fine down here. Like everyone's happy. Nobody cares. We're doing good.
Yeah. I mean,
But everyone thinks the world's burning that's outside of the US.
oh yeah. I mean, it's going to be really tough on all these emerging, countries. I mean, emerging markets, like they're completely like reliant on the revenue that comes from these tariffs. And like,
Yeah.
unless they're like going to basically bend the knee and remove their tariffs, I don't know. Yeah. It
Yeah.
makes it
We'll
like really
see.
tough for everyone. I mean, even domestically, it's very disruptive. I mean, any company that's in the US that's like relying on imported goods, I mean,
Yeah.
it's a mess, man. But fortunately, I don't really see like the areas that we're in being impacted, like in insurance and finance, pay per call, lead
Yeah.
gen, because like it's not dependent on any import. And it's just sort of like, in a different sector entirely than what's getting impacted. Like anything supply
Yeah.
chain related is kind of going to struggle for a while, but I don't know, man. Like it
Yeah.
might be actually like a huge opportunity for people to make money in lead gen and pay per call for the next like couple
Yeah.
years. So,
Agreed, bro.
yeah,
Awesome. Awesome. All right, man. Well, we should wrap this bad boy up. What's the best way to get in contact with you if someone's kind of wants to either like, I don't know, work with you or chat with you or whatever?
I'm on Skype pretty
Um,
much all day. I mean, I guess in a few weeks that's going to change. But I plan on just
Yeah.
migrating to Microsoft Teams.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be the same handle. My Skype handle is tday Skype 123. Pretty simple.
I like it.
Yeah. So anyways,
Cool.
thanks for having me on. It's an honor. And
No problem, dude. It's always great chatting with you. you've talked at a few of my events now, and like even after the events, we always take some time to chat, and you always got great insights on everything. So I appreciate you, bro.
Thanks, man. Yeah.
No worries.